This is our first official guest on the pod, Samuel Atiye. Were you at Bayern Leverkusen up until you were 17?
No, up until I was 15.
And then at 15 you went?
At 15, I moved to Borussia Monchengladbach. We really had great players at the time. I mean, one of my old teammates, Kai Havertz.
Yes.
Top player.
So
Top player.
People are gonna think you're lying. Go check who follows him. From 16 to 18, in your mind, you're thinking, I want to sign a first team contract.
Obviously, you always have the goal to go in there and be like, yeah, I want to play pro. What everyone literally preached to all of us, you guys can be lucky if one of you guys at locker room gets a pro contract.
Now your final year there, how were you released? Why were you released? Like, what was that?
Going into my final year, I maybe had the second worst period of my life, I would say. I basically was from being a player who got minutes to being left out of practices sometimes.
So demoralizing.
It was really demoralizing.
So then how do you end up going to a JUCO in New York?
I had nightmares actually of me running and I couldn't get forward. I was Googling what it means, and it means that you have the feeling that you're stuck in life.
How do you guys feel about the games against Riverside? I feel like a lot of the time you guys had control of the game.
Yeah, but then you look at the stats, I think they had 54%.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Even though the game didn't feel that way, I think they did. But it's just because we just struggle to keep the ball up top, man.
Yeah.
That's like our biggest issue right now.
Final third, you know?
Yeah, or just the offensive half. It's just keeping the ball and just staying calm.
Some plays are really questionable decisions sometimes.
I mean, I thought the game went well. I mean, you can't complain about a win.
Right.
But,
Hey, that was a good goal on JR.
oh, that was sick. Dude, did you see it made SportsCenter top 10?
What?
Yeah, it did. It was like number 8 or 7.
Yeah.
Damn, that's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the thighs.
Yeah, it was sick. I didn't realize how good of a goal it was.
Yeah, it was
from
cool.
my angle, I saw he volleyed it, but I didn't think it was like. It was very well done from Brady to like head it back to him,
yeah.
like and then him control it with the thigh and then just hit it with the volley. It was good.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I was thinking of is they still haven't won a single game, so we shouldn't be like,
UCR.
so shouldn't overhype that.
Yeah, they're 0-10.
They haven't won?
They haven't won a
Well, it's because
single
it's
game.
basically in your squad, no? Last season, the majority seniors.
They also played good teams. They played a lot of ranked. I think they played like 4 or 5 ranked teams.
Did they?
Yeah, they played like Northwestern was 19th. They played Oregon State. They played Seattle was a pretty good team, and a couple of other good teams. So it was so most of the teams they played were actually like good. They still weren't a good team. You know, that's why they got smacked most of the times. But also, if you play against a team who has 0 wins, you can't be super happy about it after you win. You know.
Yeah, but
They were champs last season, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's like a combination of feelings that we had after like going into the game and then after the game was, one, they were the Big West champs last year, but then the way they beat us was just like super like classless. I don't even know what word to say. It was just a lot of disrespect. There's a lot of like
punch. It was a UFC fight and we were just fucking horrible and got beat up.
Dude, I don't care what people say. Like people are gonna hate on me. Their field is so bad.
Oh yeah, it is.
It's the worst turf. They have lights only on one side of the field. Oh no. How does it work? Is it lights? Is it at the end of each side or is it on one side?
The lights at the end of each side.
Okay.
In the middle is a blind spot where you can play.
So typically there's lights on the sidelines, right? No, they have the lights on like the end lines, behind the goals, and those are the only lights. So there's like it's just like black in the middle of the field.
Don't
when we
like
play at night.
don't like the NCAA have to like approve of that.
I have no
They
idea.
care about Riverside. They don't care about Riverside.
They don't care about the Big West,
They care about
man.
the West. They don't care about Riverside.
Dude, no, their field is so bad. So I'm blaming
this turf?
in this turf, and we played a terrible game that day.
Yeah, we did play terrible.
Matthias was in the hospital because he had like an allergic reaction of some sort mid game. It was a bad game, but just leading up to it, there was a lot of like, I know Matthias was telling me that he had to he had like really bad allergic reaction that they had to take him to the ER, and as he's getting carried because he could hardly walk, he's getting carried away. Their bench was like talking shit on him. Yeah, and then it's just like super. Yeah, exactly, like very classless. So it kind of like we had a little chip on our shoulder from it, but then also part of it was like we started non-conference games super well, And then it's just kind of after the Stanford game, like it kind of like it just kind of died off a little bit. The momentum kind of died off. So, having gone, that we were like ending non-conference games 3-3 and 2. Yeah. So then going into this, finally getting a win after these past three games, you know, it kind of it was a relief, and it was a little bit of a confidence boost because we're going into conference now 1-0, whatever. So it's a good start to conference. It wasn't the best performance by far. Like, it was not the best performance, but we got the job done, and I think we all know that's the good thing, is that we all know it wasn't the greatest performance, but like, so we are definitely looking to like do better this weekend against Santa Barbara.
That's gonna be tough. Huh?
Dude, this is
So they still have those. That one of the guys, I think he's like one of the sons of the coaches or something like that.
Yeah.
Because he has like a couple.
He had like
sons that
3,
play there.
no, or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
I think he
actually
has
a
one
funny
now.
story to one of his kids. I can even mention the podcast
Oh,
because I play
off the podcast.
because
you
I can say it in the podcast because I trained with one of his kids in Germany.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, let me introduce you.
I know. I was just going a tangent.
Okay. All right. Welcome back to the podcast. This is our first official guest on the pod. We've introduced everybody on the team. Now we're gonna start getting more and more guests on that have their own interesting stories. So first guest on the pod, Samuel Atiye. He's my teammate, my ex-roommate, the homie. So yeah, Sam. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Nice to meet you guys. Hey, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Give a quick description of yourself. Who are you?
Well, I'm Sam. People call me Sam over in the US. My name is actual Samuel. But
Samuel?
it's fine. I'm cool with Sam. 24 years old, playing soccer at UCI, and that's pretty much everything people need to know.
Right, you're from Germany.
That's it.
Oh, I'm from Germany too, by the way. Yeah, I always keep forgetting that because I don't look German.
The German country.
I wish, hopefully soon.
What position you play?
I play center mid. I balance off. I played center back most of the time in my youth career. Started as a striker. There's an article about me when I scored 64 goals in this season. Super proud about it.
64?
64.
Holy.
I was 8, 9.
That whole
I
article?
used to be
Hey,
really
you were
fast.
64
Yeah, because I scored 64 goals and I scored 5 in the like local derby. So I was in a local newspaper.
Oh, okay.
You know, nothing big, but I still have it framed at home. It's a nice thing to look at.
Yeah.
Young Sam scoring some goals. You know,
I mean, you would never know today. Just kidding.
I just don't get in front of the goal.
Yeah, no.
I just get tired quickly.
Okay, yeah. So we'll get. I want to hear the Santa Barbara story real quick, and then we'll get into your whole backstory because I think you have a really really interesting story.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said you're training with the guy at Santa Barbara.
Yeah, it was at U16s in Germany at my team Borussia Monchengladbach at the time. So obviously you guys know Ben Steeg, the coach, and it was at that time that we had a training guest. Sometimes you have training guests from like different countries, you know. And there was a training guest named Carson Ben Steeg, which you know, for me back at that time, I was isolated in Germany and never really like left out of Europe. So he was just there. He was like a pretty decent American because I was the only time who had a decent amount of a decent level of English to actually talk to him. I was the only guy who he was talking to for like a whole week straight. Yeah, and we actually had a pretty good relationship towards the end. You know, I think he was a cool guy, nice guy. Got to know him a little better. He played the youth American team as well. So when I found out that Bam Steeg is a coach at Santa Barbara, and I had that moment last year where we played them at Santa Barbara, and he was in the stands watching, by the way. I had a feeling that I think I am in the right spot at the right time in my life, which is super funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you speak to him at all?
No, we didn't speak. The other thing about Santa Barbara was one of my teammates in Germany when I played at the club, at the more local club when I was 19. One of my teammates in Germany, he actually graduated from UC Santa Barbara, which is, let me think about it, small word.
Yeah,
German.
that's crazy.
That guy was 6'7", center back, lanky, can move. But he got picked up by, I think, Sporting Kansas, contracted from Santa Barbara. Yeah, he was one of the guys I talked about actually going to the US, and he was like, yeah, went to Santa Barbara, used to be amazing school, great opportunities over there, and then just a lot of stuff actually happened, and I thought I might even go to UCSB at some point. But yeah, then being in stadium, I was like, wow. If I recall everything that happened in my life, being actually here right now, I think it's a sign that I am on the right track.
Right path.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to your story then. Let's what led you here? How are you here? So let's start with like, when did you start playing?
Oof. So officially, the earliest age you can play at probably 6 or 7.
Okay.
Probably started already early. I mean, I had an older brother. As soon as you have an older brother and he plays soccer, you just follow what your brother does. The good thing about Germany is there's no basketball, no football. Only
Just football.
soccer, football. That's the only popular thing. So everyone plays football. The funny thing about that time was when I was like 8 or 9, all my classmates, because we were all locally, everything was like locally. So all my classmates were actually my teammates as well. You know? So when there's a break, we just play some pickup at school breaks, go practice at the end of the day, and then that's how my days were pretty repetitive at that time. But I mean, I loved it. I remember there was a World Cup in 2006, which was in Germany. I still have the memory in my head when Zidane headbutted that guy.
Yeah.
I think it might be one of the first memories I ever actually had about like football, because
Honestly, me too.
Really?
That's like the first thing that comes in mind.
yeah. And the thing is, I was 7 at that time, 6 or 7. So nowadays I talk to some guys and they're like, "Oh yeah, I wasn't even born in that age," and I'm like, "Wow, okay, I'm getting old." I'm getting old, by the way. But yeah, I basically started playing since I can think, and then.
Did you go to any of the World Cup games?
No, I didn't. I mean, they're expensive.
Yeah, I imagine.
Very expensive.
Have you gone to any World Cup games at all?
No. I think 2006 was the best opportunity for me, just because there were some games even in my city or like close by. But as I said, the tickets were expensive, and parents also not had enough time, or maybe like money reasons.
Okay, so then when you
I did actually went to some national games, and I even walked on the field with some players.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was that just with the team that you were with at the time, or just?
Yeah, they picked up my team for some reason, and then I guess they needed a black kid, so they just picked me. So they picked me, and it was another funny thing. It was Germany playing Norway in
That's funny.
2007. It was 2007 or 2008. Yeah, I wish you would be, but I was walking in with the Norwegian players. And
what?
Yeah, I was walking in with them just because they needed guys for them too. So the guy I walked on the field with, I talked to Matthias. He's a legend in Norway, by the way. His name's Skjelbred. I just remember that just because if you ever walk on the field as a young kid, you'll always remember, I remember I didn't wash my hand for like a couple of days, I really didn't. I was like, no, Mom, I'm not washing it.
You just blaming it on that, huh? But you just didn't want to shower.
Yeah, I just didn't want to shower. But it was amazing. I was super close to like guys like Michael Ballack back at that time. I remember that.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Legends, bro.
Yeah. I think that was also the game where, because I looked it up later, obviously, and it was that game actually where Mesut Özil gave his debut for the German national team.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was at that time.
Yeah.
So I was just focused on like who was popular at that time, like Michael Ballack,
Klose,
Podolski, Schweizer, like all those guys. They're right there, and I was just like, wow. That was the moment I was like, wow.
And how old were you?
8.
I think I was 8, but I was very small, so that's why they picked me, because I was very tiny. Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, so but what team were you playing with at that time?
It was a local team. It was a local team, nothing special. Yeah, I don't even know why they picked me. It was literally the same day I got my mom go to college. She was like, "Oh, is your son interested in walking on the field at the game tonight?" I was like, "Oh yeah, of course."
Were you the only black guy in the area or what?
I mean, Germany. There's not a lot of black kids in Germany in general, But obviously, I always wanted to show some,
diversity,
some colors, diversity, and all that stuff. So thinking about it now, I would maybe say because I was, but you never know.
Yeah,
you really never know.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. So at that age, what position were you playing? You said you started as striker.
Yeah, I was still striker. Yeah.
Okay. And then how did it progress from there? What did?
So I played at my local club until I was 12. And then I had a trial at the first youth I actually played at by Leverkusen. So I had a trial at 11. Went there.
I like how you just say it like it was like.
Oh yeah, I think
Right,
that's
Leverkusen.
Bayer
I mean,
Leverkusen.
I played at
Bro,
that
explain
for so
to these Americans what that is, bro.
Okay, so Bayer Leverkusen is obviously one of the top teams in Germany.
Bundesliga.
In the Bundesliga, it's the team where
Sorry.
it's the team that Xabi Alonso coaches right now, and also the team that lost to Zinedine Zidane in the
Finals.
in the Champions League final when he
That
scored
volley?
that volley. Yeah, I also have an interesting story about that later on, by the way. Yeah, it's a funny story.
This podcast is gonna go forever, to be honest. You
It's funny
guys,
story, yeah.
It's good
I
though.
have a lot to say, but yeah, I had a trial at 11. I actually got picked up already, but I broke my hip.
how did you get the? Wait, sorry, sir. You broke his hip.
Leverkusen?
How did you get the trial though? Like, how does that?
I don't even
work?
know. Someone just called my mom. I was like, "Hey, where
Your
you
mom
at?"
got the
bro, you're
connect.
just getting recruited by
No.
everybody. Yeah?
No, I
Who's
must.
that black kid on this?
I was pretty good player. I mean, you don't score under 64 goals
Right.
in a season if you don't know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I was really
After
fast.
that season,
Well, it probably was
after
the.
that season, Leverkusen was like, dang, 64.
Yeah, let's put him at center back.
It wasn't even that season, to be fair. But yeah, at the trial, got picked up, and then I broke my hip, and then
How'd you? At
I don't even-
what? At
I don't
11
even-
years old, you broke your hip.
I don't even know what
That's
happened.
crazy.
I just remember when my mom picked me up the field, and I was crying, and I don't know what happened. It's just one of those core memories you remember, but you don't know exactly what happened. All I remember is how my mom literally picked me up like this, walked me off the field. I was in the hospital for a couple of days, and I somehow played again. Like,
Yeah.
that's all I remember. I never remember even being out. Yeah,
You don't remember how long you were out
I
for?
don't remember anything.
Wow. Okay, so this was at the trial you broke your hip?
No, it was
leading up to it.
No, it was after the trial. So I already got picked up to come to play for the U12s in the year of 2011. But I couldn't go because of my hip.
Right.
So they said, "Oh, yeah, okay. He can't come now. We'll continue scouting him. Maybe there's an opportunity, later
Yeah.
on." Which is, if you think about it, it's pretty devastating actually.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize at that time. I really didn't, thinking about it right now.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and then what happens once you recover?
The only other thing I remember is we had a game. It was we played with my local team. We played the Bundesliga team in my city, Fortuna Düsseldorf, and I remember we played them and we won 2-1. It was a big game. I think it was maybe one of the biggest game I played until that point.
Wait, but how did that game come about? Was it in
It was a
tournament?
league system.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a league system. U12. The good thing about Germany is we have league systems, so you already started getting competition in at a very, very, very early stage. You play each team twice, and there was a time that we were competing for the championship at that time. So obviously, you have a local team playing against a youth Bundesliga team who have tournaments every weekend and all that stuff. That's gonna be a big thing. I remember I scored a goal. I took my shirt off. I did this. Yeah, and I was running off the field, which ended up also being the game winner. And yeah, I got invited again to another trial couple months later after that. I got picked up, and then I was on the team with Bayer Leverkusen ultimately.
Oh, Leverkusen?
Yeah, so I didn't go at one at the U12 stage, but I ended up going at the U13s. Yeah,
Nice.
Damn, and how long were you there for?
for 3 years. U13s, U14s, and U15s in total. So 3 total years.
How big of a jump do you feel the levels were between the local team that you're playing for and
It was a huge jump.
yeah?
Yeah, the first thing was it was pretty legal at that time. So I was still at my old club, but at that age, it doesn't really matter who you really play for, So while I was at my old club, I was supposed to, because I was already they already wanted me to come the year after. So they invited me to play for a tournament for them, and you can play as a guest player in tournaments, internationally. So we had a tournament in the Netherlands, and obviously played for Bayer Leverkusen. I had a huge fight with my coach at that time because we had a game that weekend. And I was like, "Oh yeah, coach, I can come. I have math homework to do."
No way.
And bro, what would you do?
From the local or?
Yeah, to my local coach.
Oh, okay.
Because he didn't want me to go. I told him, "Yeah, I got an invite to play for the tournament. I would really like to go." we had teams like PSV Eindhoven and Ajax
Yeah,
Amsterdam,
crazy.
you know, and or I play against the team who we beat 12-0 without me, you know. So
Yeah.
what would you do?
Yeah.
You know. Also, like I already had my chance when I was younger, and because of the hip and didn't work, so I'll take this
Taking
chance,
advantage.
you know, because they wanted to see me play. So I went with them that weekend. I said I was sick. I wasn't. But yeah, we ended up, I think, winning the tournament.
Dang.
It was in the Netherlands too, so it was a great experience to just meet
Yes.
these guys, and the level difference was huge. It was way more technical in general, technical. Thing about me was I was fast, really fast.
Back
You guys
then.
can remember back then I was really fast, really fast, and yeah, just ran.
You were still a striker at the time?
I was still a striker, winger striker at that time.
Winger.
Yeah, I was fast. I just ran past these guys, blew by them, and then just either crossed it in or scored. Yeah, I scored a couple goals too.
Some people who don't know you,
Mm-hmm.
like, or haven't seen you play now, are so confused as to why we're like, winger.
Yeah, I'll recall my playing style in a minute, so you guys will definitely understand
Yeah.
everything about me and my persona.
Well, okay, so then, well then let's jump straight to that. What's the biggest difference between your playing style then and now? Like what made that change?
With the tournament, U13s, all defenders were injured. They were all injured. All of them were injured. Because, I mean, if you play 4 days straight, like
Yeah.
2 days, I still can't even think about how I managed to do that. Because you played like 3 days, 3 games in a day. Each
Yeah.
game was like 30, 40 minutes, you know, big spaces. And then the next day you play another 3 games, big spaces.
Yeah.
And then at some point, you know, you just break. These guys just break. So we had no defenders. And my coaches put me at the back, and it was amazing. Mainly because I was fast. So I was just running by these guys. Whenever they played balls up top, I just ran, you know, and I used because I grew a lot between like 11 to like 13. I grew a lot. I think I was from being the smallest guy to being the biggest guy by far. So I was one of these, like, we call them busfahrer, which means the guy who drives the bus. Yeah. Because he's older. He's not,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people said that I'm not the age I was supposed to be. Yeah. I was one of these guys, you know, for a while. And, you know, I think,
That's funny.
if you have them, and especially if they're fast, you just need to teach them how to be techy.
Yeah.
And you have a pretty good product.
Yeah.
If you think about it. Because the hard it is to teach speed and genetics. It's
Yeah.
genetics.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it. But technique, you can
Yeah.
always, you know. That's why we had a lot of these guys on our team. A lot of them. Yeah, I ended up playing center back, and I played really good for the whole year straight. So my coach was like, you know what, I'll just keep on center back. We just kept winning and winning and winning and winning and winning. And I think in that season, in our regional season, where we played like Borussia Dortmund, Schalke 04, a couple other German teams, you know, in the area, I think we ended up with more than 100 goals scored, and I think less than 10 conceded.
Damn.
So we had a really, really solid defense.
And this is at what age? 13?
13, yeah.
10?
Yeah.
Wow.
We were talking about like national wide at that stage, we were probably the best team in Germany.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so after that, at 13 is when you started playing. You stopped playing striker.
Yeah, I
Or
was
you-
only center back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so center back for how long? And how long until you started playing? Like, did you go from center back to like the 6?
Yeah, went
Yeah.
from center back to 6. So I played center back for actually the most part of my career, to be honest, from 13 until I was 17, which is the biggest developing
the biggest,
stage
Yeah.
of a guy.
So that makes sense why you're no longer a winger. That's crazy. Wow.
But over that time, obviously, I grew a lot within the center back role. You know,
Do you have some sort of like, not regret, but like, do you sometimes wish that you would have stayed as a striker or as a winger?
no.
No.
I think my quality as a striker and as a winger is more common than my quality as a center mid or like a center back.
Oh, you're saying. Oh, okay. So you're
Yeah.
saying like you're.
So my strengths
yeah.
are more within the center mid system
Okay,
than
yeah, that
the
makes
center than the striker or winger
Mm-hmm.
system. Yeah, and we really had great players at the time. I mean, one of
Mm.
my old teammates, Kai Havertz,
Gas.
top player,
so crazy.
top
People are,
player.
people are gonna think you're lying. Go
Yeah.
check who follows him.
I'm not
check
lying.
his.
I mean-
check who follows him. Bro.
He follows you?
Yeah, he follows me. I mean, not a big deal. You know, he was my old teammate. I mean, he followed me when he was before all the fame, so he just kept it going. So shout out to him for being real and for not unfollowing me. I must say, but I'm true. I mean, he doesn't even run his on socials anymore. You know?
Yeah.
But he was one of my teammates back then. I think from that team, offensively, one guy plays in the second division in Italy, which is top pro. He was also playing top division in Turkey and in Italy as well. Another guy plays third division in Germany, which is pro level, you know. Another guy is, anyways, out of that year, we had top offensive players. So, you know, I was just happy to be on the team, to be honest. We traveled every weekend to tournaments all the way across Europe, Italy, Spain, Portugal. So I was happy to just play, you know.
Were you at Bayern Leverkusen up until you were 17?
No, up until I was 15.
Oh, 15?
Yeah.
And then at 15 you went.
At 15, I moved to Borussia Monchengladbach, which was also, I would say, one of the hardest times in my life because it was a step between the U15s and U17s. There's no U16s, so you can only take half of the team from that point on, you know. And we had a great team. We were champs. As I said, we scored like 80 goals, maybe like 20 this year. So we had a great team overall, you know. And if you have to cut half of the team of a really talented, really talented team, you have to do hard decisions, you know. One of the decisions was to not take me, but as I said, because we had a really good and talented team, I was also being invited of the U15 national teams at that time for the center back role, which also was good consideration for me and like validation for me that I'm valid, I'm legit, you know, because you never know if you're legit. All the people around you, they're always still like, oh yeah, you're so good, but you really don't know until, you know, like validation from like real people. So
did you end up playing the U15?
I got invited to a couple camps, but I never played officially.
That's sick though, gang.
Yeah, it was. My parents were there, both of them. We were sitting in there talking about everything. They said, yeah, really developing great, but I think we're at a stage where we have to pick one of the two center backs we actually had, because I was a starting center back. And they basically just decided to take the other guy because they thought he maybe has a little more potential.
Where is he now?
He is playing 4th division in Germany. It's not bad, but it's also the greatest thing. But like, no regrets. He was my biggest best friend back at that time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, these guys were like that's why he probably still followed me, because we were amazingly tight at that time.
Yeah.
You know, we were like super tight.
You haven't spoken to him since?
To my center back?
The center back?
Yeah. We sometimes occasionally speak. We follow each other on Instagram, so sometimes we swipe about your stories, you know, ask how we are. And it was Deb helped me out when I was 19 again, because I needed some soccer advice at that time. So, like, the connections I made at that time were amazing. Like, I'm not regretting anything. You know, to play in that team was amazing. I have friends for life. Still have a group chat with a couple guys. You know, we're planning to do a holiday trip together, which hopefully happens anytime soon. But
Oh, that's sick.
yeah, it's definitely friends for life I met over there.
Kai Havertz in it? I'm just kidding.
He's not in it. No, he's not in it. He's not in it. Yeah.
Oh, what is it, dude? I swear, if you send him a DM, he would unfollow you.
I mean, if he does them.
You think if he'd recognize you if he saw you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like Sam?
Yeah, I think so. So, we played together for how long? 3-4 years, you know?
Yeah.
And like,
Were you guys close?
we were good friends. So it wasn't like super close, obviously.
So it's like you and Rafa?
No, it wasn't as close as like me and Rafa, but it was maybe, I would say, like me and Christian.
Right.
You know, pretty good friends. You know, always flew around. We had our
For the UCI guys as well.
we had our thing. He used to do squirrel noises. I used to do dolphin noises together.
That sounds
Hey.
very much like you.
So, after the Champions League, when he won it, and he did that weird ass...
It was nothing new.
Nothing new for you?
Nothing new. I was like, yeah, of course he does it. We started that stuff together, actually. Yeah, we started to do like some actics and
That's hilarious.
just a lot
Weird
of,
celebrations.
just a lot of weird stuff. Yeah, a lot of weird stuff.
I wanted to ask, what was like at that age, like 13 to 15, while you're there, What was like a day in life for you? Like, were you going to school there, or were you going to school separately?
No, I was school separately, going to school separately at my local school in Germany. So I went to school the school system's a little different in Germany than it is in the US. There's no like long schools where you have school until like 4 or 5, 6 p.m., at that time. So I was lucky to be home by like 1. And shout out to Germany, my team. We had a pickup service because my parents never had a car. They still don't know how to drive. So, we had a pickup service from a certain spot, which was, shout out to them again, a couple footsteps away from where I used to live.
Oh.
So I just walked like 10 minutes with my big bag, and they just picked me and a couple players from that spot because they made the pickup service based on the players who lived in regions. So I was sitting in a bus with guys who were like, so as a U13 player, I was sitting in a bus with guys who were like U19 players, U17 players, and all those guys. And I still have connections to a lot of those guys because I was a guy, I was a little kid and we were joking around, And I wouldn't say they're like brothers, but they're also guys I was like looking up to get every advice. One of these guys, he plays in the 3rd division Germany. He's a top pro. And I'm just happy that he was along my path to help me with stuff, every time I had a question. Sick. So yeah, went to school, then had the pickup service at like 4. We got there at 5, practiced from 5 to 7:30, and then I got usually home at like 9.
And that was just daily?
That was just daily. Four times a week at that time, but it then got progressed into daily.
Yeah. Okay. And then let's go to like you going to 16, 17. Then how did that all unfold?
Yeah. So obviously I got released by Leverkusen, but the good thing they actually did for me is they organized a trial for me at Borussia Monchengladbach, which is really uncommon. If you think about it, you get released by a top club in a division, and that club organizes you trial at another top club in a division.
Yeah.
It's like USC would organize me a trial at UC Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
That would never happen.
Yeah.
Which I think, I was a good player, and it was a hard decision for them to either take me or the other guy. And as I said, I got national recognition by being invited to the national team camp. So people knew about me. I was a starter. So I played against basically every team in the area. So, as I said, I had my trial at Borussia Dortmund and Borussia Mönchengladbach. And ultimately ended up going to Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Did Dortmund have interest? Like, did they have a offer? Or
they were interested, but ultimately, also, Dortmund was pretty far away from where I used to live. And because my parents don't have a car, it was tough to get out there. So I had a guy helping me out to get there. And I think the drive itself was an hour and a half, which is not that far for American standards, but for German standards, it's big. While Borussia Mönchengladbach was a 20-minute car ride, ultimately.
Makes sense.
So also my best friend was on that team. Like
Yeah.
my best friend, we were still tight. He was on that team. I still had another guy, a couple of friends who were on that team. And everything was great over there, They weren't that great at that time. So with me coming in, I helped them out more, and I was more like that guy for them at that point, I got in at the U16s. I was immediately voted as a team captain.
Oh, sick.
We had a pretty good team. I was a leader of the team, and as I said, a great time over there as well.
Nice. And then you were there for how long?
For U16, U17, U18, and U19 for 4 years.
What's the biggest difference between Leverkusen and then?
Quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leverkusen way better.
Yeah, Leverkusen was way better. They actually ended up winning the National German Championship at the U17 stage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we were in the same league, and the top 2 teams within the league qualify for a national sort of like tournament playoff system where the team that wins it all actually gets a little trophy, which is huge. Just huge. I also know, for example, as I said, Leverkusen had Kai Havertz at the time. He won the championship, and a week later he got invited by the pro team to train with them.
Oh.
That's how big the recognition is at that time if you really win it. And we were a higher mid-table team. Like we were fighting for like 4 to 6, I would say, while they were fighting for 1 and 2. And that's just the term of quality of like maybe 1 or 2, 3 players
Right.
you know, that we didn't have that they had, which ultimately was the difference.
Did you play them?
Yeah,
Oh, really? How was that for you?
oof, it was very emotional.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
emotional. It was my first game ever. Also being back out there, so emotional. It was a nice day, just in general, to see those guys, you know, because it was bright smile.
Yeah.
They had a bright smile too. Every time I played them, I passed. It was always nice. But I think we ultimately lost that game. But it was great for me to just be back where it all started for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Obviously, like as you're from 16 to 18, you're in your mind, you're thinking, I want to sign a first team contract, like, or what's your thought?
That was ultimately my goal, but what everyone literally preached to all of us, or which is what is preached in all the locker rooms in Germany, is this, that you guys can be lucky if one of you guys in the locker room gets a pro contract.
Oh, really?
So they'll tell you,
Well,
like,
it's tough.
they'll tell you if one of you guys within that locker room gets a pro contract, it's a good team, you know. Ultimately, at the old team at Bayer Leverkusen, we had like 4 or 5 guys getting a pro contract, but we were exceptional.
Yeah.
We were really good. We were really good nationally and Europe. Europe-wise, we were a really good team, you know. So obviously, you always have the goal to go in there and be like, yeah, I want to play pro. You know, where at the end didn't really matter to me. You know, good thing about Germany is first, second, and third division are all pro leagues where you play in front of 10,000s of people and also get a financial good amount to really live good.
Yeah.
You know, so that ultimately was my goal to play pro, whether it is first, second, or third division. Doesn't really matter, you know, because it's really hard to get it.
Okay, so during that time, it wasn't gonna be. It most likely wasn't gonna be signing there. It would be somewhere.
I mean, it wasn't most likely. I was started every game, so I had every right to think about it. Yeah, I definitely want to play professionally over here, you know. And my coaches also gave me a feeling that I can make it, you know, because they wouldn't play me and they wouldn't talk to me at all if I wouldn't have the chance to play for them as well.
So then,
But you also think about it. Within one team, there's guys in the lower teams or guys in the higher teams who are in consideration of being a pro. So you're not competing with the guys in your team. You're basically competing with all the people within the club, you know.
yeah,
And that my team at the center mid spot when I got in at the U19s, which is a shared group, which is between the guys who were born in the year 98 and the guys who were born in the year 99, you know. You always play at the U19s. You always play 1 year as a guy who's a part of the older team and part of the younger team. And if you come in as a younger guy playing with the older guys, you're likely to see feel the feel. You likely don't see the feel for a whole year, you know. Because in my position at center mid-spot, we had a guy who was, I think, all 3 of them maybe signed pro. 2 of them were national team players. The other one got national team honors within that year because they're exceptional, you know. And I was a center mid number 4. I was happy to just get some minutes in.
Yeah.
Because I know, okay, my time would come the year after. Right now is not my time, you know.
right. Let me know if I'm skipping anything.
Yeah.
If there's something that's like super important during those years there.
Yeah.
But I want to like, now your final year there, what's the conversation like with the coaching when you're being released, or how were you released? Why were you released? Like, what is that?
Well, going into my final year, I maybe had the second worst period of my life, I would say. It was because, as I said, I went in with a mentality that, okay, right now is not my year, and the year after will be my year. I'll be one of the older guys. I'll have my leader position back, you know. And going into my first years at U19s as a younger guy, where you only, again, from like U15s to U17s, they only take half of the team. And then from the U17s, they only take a half of those and put them in the U19s because it's 2 teams basically together, you know, 2 age groups together to combine. So to just be one of those guys, we had like 11 players or 12 players out of my age group who got from the U17s to U19s. To just be one of those guys who even sees the field is already a major accomplishment because we had 8 guys and we were all tight, you know, because we played together from like 15 to 18, 19. So if you were one of the guys who was even traveled, you were already lucky, you know. And I traveled a lot with them. the first half of the season. I think the best memory I had in that year was we played UEFA Youth League at that time.
Damn.
Yeah, I got lucky because my pro team played Champions League as well. So
Yeah.
you can only play it, obviously, if your pro team plays Champions League as well. And you get the chance to travel with the team. So every time there's an away game or there's a Champions League day, your team plays on the same day or maybe a day earlier.
Oh, wow.
Against their
Yeah,
youth team.
against their youth team.
That's it.
Yeah, and you have a whole group system as well, same system. And based from the system, everything after is, again, your own competition where you get like draws with another team and then basically you have a playoff system.
How far did you guys go?
We never got out of group stage.
No?
I mean, the teams we played, the worst team in our group was us and Celtic Glasgow. And we had Man City and Barcelona in our group.
Nope.
What?
Yeah.
You got minutes?
So you
that
played
day?
you played Barca Academy against them?
Yeah, played against Barca Academy. That was
Is there any, like,
that was the
notable
only
players?
time. That was the only time I played against in that whole competition.
Oh, that game was the only game.
That was the only game. We had 6 games. The main thing is if you have those games, there's a specific rule that you're allowed to take under 23 players within your team. So if you already have your U19 team, you can take 3 or 4 under your 23 players, which means out of those players, 3 of them have to go.
Yeah.
You know, which ultimately, if you think about it, I was 18 at that time, playing with guys who were 23, just to be on the plane to travel was already my season goal.
Right.
To be fair, you know, because we had 3 guys out of the guys who made it from the U17s to the U19s. 3 guys ultimately traveled, while 12 of them didn't even travel at all to one of those trips. Yeah, so being one of those 3 guys was amazing.
Yeah, it's sick.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to play against Barca.
Yeah, that's
And how was
Oof.
how was that?
Amazing. We played at the Mini Estadi, which is the smallest stadium next to the Camp Nou, Nou Camp. If I recall, one of the guys who maybe now is a big guy, I can't think of one of those guys now who's pretty big. But the main thing actually happened after the game. So we won against Barcelona, which was which was already the best thing ever, you know. To be on that trip and to win, to experience everything, you know, to even train at the Barcelona facility the day before, you know, was amazing. Sometimes the stuff like snatch up memories. When I see that stuff, I was like, wow.
Dang.
Yeah, so surreal. And on the day it was the same day our pro team also played them at night. And at the stadium, we actually got to see the entire team of Liverpool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they had a training camp at the time in Spain, and they went to watch a game. And our coach, who was a pro striker in Germany, he knew Jurgen Klopp, you know. If you're a coach for a youth team in Germany, you're usually pretty good connected. And he knew Jurgen Klopp, so we were literally sitting right with them, watching the game.
Wow.
I have a funny picture of me and Jurgen Klopp, and I have a picture of with Origi.
I remember you showing me the photos.
Yeah. Those photos are gold memories. And it was just amazing to see Messi live in person. I think MSM was at that time too, so we got to see Neymar Suarez as well.
Suarez and Neymar.
You know, our pro team got smacked 5-1, but I don't care. I was just there all vibes. You know, I played a couple minutes. You guys won. I was on that trip. You know, I didn't need to go to school because school was at that time too. You know, so I didn't have to go to school. I was sending Snapchat stories from like Spain and stuff.
Wow, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, and then then you getting released. So you're. So how did that go?
So within that year where I played a couple minutes in the youth league team, I also got released the same year because it was fully on myself, you know. At winter we had like talks about going into the second half of the season, and I was out of the centimeters who obviously got picked up from the U17 pool. I was one of those guys, and I was like, okay, yeah. The last part of the season, I'll just go with the flow, and I'll know for sure that next year this is gonna be my team, you know, my spot. So I was like, okay, yeah, you know, I'll just take everything a little bit easier. I wasn't hard enough. I wasn't focused. I also had a girlfriend at that time, and there's no blame. There's no blame on her. It's fully blamed on me. You know?
That's her fault.
Because I had the mentality. That I was like, okay, I'll chill down a little bit. little down, and then once the year starts again, where the old guys are out, this is gonna be my year, my team, and everything. Well, I didn't perform in practice, not at all. Over the stretch of the period, there was a 3 months period where I basically was from being a player who got minutes to not being even traveling, being left out of practices sometimes. And then there was that day when we announced the travel squad to go to play a tournament in Japan, where I didn't get picked up, and I knew, okay, I think if they're not picking me to Japan, I knew that I'll maybe get released after a year, Fast forward, I think a couple of weeks later, they told me that that I'm not considered a member of the team for the next year. Thing was, I was still in the contract. EU contract.
Oh, dude, I remember you telling me this.
So I had the decision to either stay and sit on my contract or to leave, And then over the summer, I was keen on finding a new place, but I got mono, I think, in early March. The thing in Germany is if you want to transfer to the youth stage, the transfers usually happen around March to May, because in June you already start your preseason. Early July, end of June you start preseason already. So I had mono, and I wasn't able to train for a whole month straight, and then I had to do a whole recovery session for another month straight. And luckily I was still on the contract, so I was in good hands to get fit again. But I was at a spot where my team didn't want me to be there anymore, So I remember that was one of the worst memories I ever had. I went on a trial to play for a team which played in the same league, but they were the bottom of the table. It was not a youth academy team. It was definitely on my standards. I knew that I had the level to play. I just wasn't myself at that time for some odd reasons, personal reasons. But I went on a trial, and I think it was a week after I was cleared from mono practices, So I went on a trial, and the coach literally told me that I have a squad of 40 players right now, because everyone in the region wants to
40?
Everyone in the region wants to play for that team, because especially that team plays in the league. They got relegated. They got promoted. So everyone who's in the area who always played locally wants to play for them, because they have the chance in that team to play against the big teams, which you usually never get to. So obviously I went on a trial for that team, knowing that I'm actually better than those guys. But I was there and I was not performing. The guy literally told me that out of 40 guys, I still wouldn't take you, just because you're not good enough.
That's
You know?
devastating. Oh, I
It's
can't
devastated. So I was at a point at which I either go down a league or I'll stay my contract.
If I remember this correctly, this story is you stayed in the contract. There's one session where they had all the players take a photo, the team photo, and you were running the track.
No, it wasn't.
Or how was
It
it?
wasn't.
Something like that.
No, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. It was close. So you mixed two stories.
I
Yeah. Well, my friends, they're my best friends, my homies at that time. We were always playing PlayStation parties at the time, so they're aware of my situation. And I told them, yeah, boys, I'm literally out. They don't want me anymore, but I don't know what to do. And I was too stubborn to go to the lower league, because I knew that the level in the lower leagues is not for me. I knew that I played those guys my whole life. So what is the difference now that I'm not able to play them anymore?
Yeah.
So I ended up staying on my contract. And there was a year where the guys from year 99 collaborated with the guys from year 2000. So you got a couple younger guys and a couple older guys. And I was supposed to be part of the older guys. Anyways, I decided to stay on my contract. I'll never forget it. I walked in first day when, you get your gear and everything. I walked in last because I told the coach that I'll stay. And he told me that I'll stay under the conditions that I'll get everything that is within my contract, which means that I'll get gear, I'll get driving service, and I get facilities to train, which sounds good, right? But I was not a part of the team. I was not a team member. I basically just got my stuff, got everything that I was supposed to get. We all had numbers on our training shirts, A, because it was for like the age group, and then a number based off the alphabet, And I was always, because my name is Atiye, so I was always either one or two or something. I didn't even have a number. I just had straight A in my jersey, nothing. So anyways, I got in. We went to training camp. They took me on a training camp, but I was always neutral guy. It was always, if we played scrimmage and it was one too much, I was always outside. I was always left out, I was one of those guys.
So demoralizing.
It was really demoralizing. But I was just like, I still think the practice in here is much better than going down the league, Yeah, I ended up staying, and when we head towards winter, there was a period at which I was like, I'm sick of this. I can't do this anymore, Every time we had practices, sometimes I wasn't even involved in practice. There was a day when I was playing against the wall. I was hitting the ball against the wall for a whole practice session while these guys were practicing. 11v11s, I was just running around the whole field, or I was just hitting the ball against the wall. While my teammates, you have to think about it. I walk out with them. We joke on the way out. They train. I'll just do my own stuff next to them. And it was a professional environment. It was a top professional environment, in Germany. I was just rebounding for a whole day straight. And then I went home, And then at some point I was like, I can't do it like that anymore. Yeah. It's just too hard. They were also not performing,
They were?
They were bottom of the league, which is, we had big issues. We had the big boss coming in, which is super unusual. The big boss coming in, even the main pro coach coming in to motivate us to play better. Because it's important for the club to not get relegated,
Right.
That'll be maybe the worst thing that would ever happen to the age group, So fast forward, I went on a trial for a team in the lower league, which gave me the option to play for the pro team after, and the pro team was pretty okay. And I decided to go out there and to like terminate my contract. The thing was, there was one point in my life when I was like, you know what? Everything's going downhill for the team, and I'm practicing. My main coach was also out for injury reasons. He had surgery. So my two associate coaches were main coaches at the time. And I was just like, you got this. Just fuck up. Just don't think and just do whatever you want to do. So I changed my entire mindset. I started running before I went to school. I had school at 7, so I started running at 6. Running like to get back in shape, get back into fitness. I did practices and obviously I hit the wall a couple times, so my touch was a little better. But as I said, I was much fitter. I was running more. And then in practices, I just killed these guys. They're my friends. I knew these guys for years. I played with them together for years, So once we got into practices and I got the chance to actually practice with them sometimes, I just killed them. Yeah. I knew that I have to take this chance. I fully killed them. And fast forward, we lost more games. I was even better at practice, sharper, fitter. And I got a call after one day at school, and they literally told me, hey, we want to try you out again and play you again. Yeah. And it was another thing in my life that was just right moment at right time. We played Bayer Leverkusen.
Oh, wow.
At home, who was undefeated at that time.
Huh.
We, bottom of the bottom table, got 1 win. I was supposed to play that weekend. I didn't even play. I played full 90 straight. I maybe played one of the best games of my life, and we actually ended up beating them 2-1.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I walked in the locker room, and they applauded me straight for like a minute straight. I almost shredded tears just because it was so emotional for me.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I overcame so much. I was basically out. I was out. I already told them I'll take the offer. I'm leaving, leaving everything behind. I wasn't sure if I'll ever make it again to pro stages. The thing is, I think the thing that helped me the most was talk to my associate coach at that time, who was a center back, a pro, and he told me that I have the talent to play.
Yeah.
And you have to understand, this guy, he played. I think he has more than 60, 80 caps for the Austrian national team.
Oh, wow.
He was a legit pro.
Yeah.
And if a guy like that tells you that you can make it, you have every right to actually believe it. So as I said, I got my stuff together. I worked my ass off for a couple months straight, got better in practice, took my chance, and from that point on, I was basically from 0 to hero, and I was a starter again.
Yeah.
You know, starting. Also, a couple other things helped me out in that situation. We had injury situations with the other center. The second center was injured. You know, just everything
in line.
Everything fell in my way at that time.
So then how do you end up going to a JUCO in New York?
I was a part of the U19s, but my contract ran out, and at the end, we ended up not taking me just because it was just a time. Usually, out of the U19 plays, you only take like 5% and put them into the U23s, where you think they're possibly prospects for the pro team. And it's just common for the most people in Germany, if you go to the youth academy, it ends after the U19 stage, and then you just go somewhere else.
Right.
You know, either sign somewhere else, get signed by your team, or stay with the U23s. You know, those are the options. But they usually release most of the teams. After that, I went on a trial at Cardiff City, which was interesting because they played at the Premier League at that time. So,
Cardiff.
yeah, I was
In Wales?
Yeah, in Wales. I was in Wales for a while. So I trained with the U21 team. Even got to play in some games because they have like their rules over there to play as a guest player. And there was one day I trained with the pros who made the team, the travel team at that time, you know. And that was when it hit me, like, wow, I'm actually a few right now Premier League pros. Real Premier League pros.
Yeah.
One of the guys was the nephew of Drogba.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't even know. I looked it up after, of course.
Yeah.
But I was on the field with actual Premier League pros, and I was like, dude, I'm so close.
Yeah.
That was when I actually realized I'm so close, you know, to actually getting there. Well, it ended up not taking me, which is happens.
Yeah.
You know, but I got back pretty late. I got back in like September, and I think it was gone from July to September. And at that time, all the clubs were already
Yeah. Season's
already starting. You know, they're already in their seasons, so they're not picking up any players. Tried it out like 4th division, 3rd division. Didn't work out. They didn't need players, especially a young buck who's 19 years old, just got out of youth academy. You know, why you play with grown man, 30-year-olds, you know. And fast forward, I had to go to the 5th division club because I was without a club for half a year, just training by myself, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to do it anymore. I want to train, you know, because nothing beats practice. And practicing by yourself, yeah. Fast forward, I went to the 5th division club. Was there for a while because I was like, okay, I'll work my ass off. 4th division, 3rd division, you know, that was my game plan. Not year for year, but maybe like 2 years there, 1 year there, 2 years there, you know. It didn't work out, and then fast forward, I had nightmares actually of me running, and I couldn't get forward. And I don't know if you guys have those nightmares sometimes, but I was literally running. I was so slow. You know, and I was Googling what it means. I was Googling what it means, and it means that you have the feeling that you're stuck in life.
Dang.
Yeah.
You stuck, bro? That was.
That was weird. Wait. That was weird how I said it. I didn't mean it like that. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, pause. Yeah. Go.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So that makes sense.
Yeah. And if you look back at it, I was not where I wanted to be. I was at uni in Germany, just because like to do something.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, okay, I'm already studying, so why don't I just go to the U.S. You know? And I had friends who were at the U.S. at that time, so I talked with them. As I said, my teammate played at Santa Barbara previously, and then all that in combination ultimately filled out I think application at like 1 a.m. for like a college recruiter or like a European college recruiter. I filled out the application. I got an email the next morning, and he was like, "Yeah, I think you'll probably get something with your resume." And I was like, "Okay,
Yeah, probably.
down.
Yeah, come on, man.
What's your library?
Okay.
Using.
I'm down." That's how basically how it started.
And then so then you go to New York. Lived in New York for how long?
A year straight, a couple of months as well, but it was COVID at the time, so.
Okay, so you're there,
The worst time.
and why did you end up in a JUCO?
You know how there's like the gap between high school and NCAA club, the 2-year gap, where you can take 1 year off.
Okay.
I think I was out of school for like too long. I was out of school for too long. So obviously the only reason I wanted to play in the U.S. was to play pro after. So the
Right.
only reason to play is if it's Division 1,
Right.
right? So
But the only route that was set for you at the time was JUCO, and then
yeah. Well,
Okay.
there was actually a funny story. I actually signed with the Division 2, but because of personal reasons and stuff that happened, my family at that time, I actually ended up not going. But I ended up still to take the step to go to the U.S. and the JUCO was the only option to potentially play Division 1 soccer. So I got lucky that I got recruited by the top Division 1 team in the nation by Monroe College, and honestly, it was maybe one of the best decisions I ever did to play JUCO.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then so you're there for a year, and then boom, UCI,
Boom.
right?
Is
Is that how that was the process?
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
There's some stuff that happened in between,
Yeah.
but yeah, we had our college season at Monroe.
How'd you like living in New York?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I love New York. I still love it. Thing is, Monroe College in general wasn't that great. The facilities were awful. The university was not hard. You know, COVID, everything was online, so you used to check Quizlet and all that stuff. You know, like discussions of all that stuff. So it wasn't hard.
Yeah.
And we had so much time, and the facilities were so bad that the city was the only time or the only chance we actually got out. You know, so every time I was basically like this. Woke up in the morning, went to practice in the morning once a day. There's no team lifts, no nothing like that. You just practice. That was free for the rest of the day. I just went to the city, took the train. Was one train that went straight from my train station down middle of Manhattan. 30 minutes, and then that's what I basically just did for a whole year straight. You know, 21, you're allowed to go to the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, just live
Just
life.
living your best life.
Just living. I was living my best life. Yeah.
Was that your first time going to the U.S. when you came to New
Yeah.
York?
It's the
Okay.
first time.
How was it like? Was there a culture shock?
Yeah, it was. But then again, I was prepared because I knew I was going, and because of COVID, I was just sitting on my phone and watching videos about America. You know, I was already listening to hardcore black music and rap music and all that stuff. So it wasn't as crazy of a culture shock as people would expect.
So then how big of a shock was it in terms of soccer? Like the level, the play
It was the
style?
biggest shock I've ever seen in my life. That was arguably the worst level I ever played.
Yeah.
I think I went down.
Cool, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's JUCO.
I mean, JUCO's not bad. I love the JUCO system because of the opportunity it gives for
Yeah,
people.
of course.
Like people really need to consider JUCO more because
Right.
I mean now I am at Monroe. My old teammates, they all play at good Division 1 or Division 2 colleges because they went
JUCO.
through the JUCO route.
Yeah, like even like Sergio took the
Sergio,
JUCO route.
yeah.
Yeah. You know, so I really think people need to consider it more if not everything goes Division 1. I could have gone Division 1. The first school that was interested in me was UC Santa Barbara. They're the first ones who demanded my transcripts in 2019, but I couldn't go because of the gap and everything. You know,
Yeah.
that's also why being in Santa Barbara was such a moment for me that I was like, wow, I think I'm at the right place.
So then, when after that year at JUCO, why UCI? If I would imagine UCSB was still an option.
They weren't.
Oh, they weren't?
No. The funny thing at that time is as soon as the JUCO season ends, your coach sends out you create your own highlight tip, and your coach sends it out to everyone in the nation. You know, my coach is a well-respected coach. He knows all the coaches, Division 1, Division 2. So he sends out to everyone, and basically everyone who wants you hits you up. I think I had within the first 3 days, I had 20 schools hitting up to me. Obviously, resume-wise, I'm interested in those guys. But my main goal was still to play at a quality level, quality high level. You know, you had guys in the previous years who went on to Marshall to win the NCAA as a starting keepers, or to play at Virginia Tech ACC, or the defensive player of the year of the last 2 years of the UC Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
He played at Monroe College before, you know. So it was reachable for me to play at a good school, you know. And ultimately, it was Yossi who convinced me to come to UCI.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I remember the first talk I had with Yossi, he was just shit talking on me. He just told me how bad I was at everything.
He did the same to Matthias. Huh?
Yeah, that's his tactic, I guess. Shoot you down
Just
so you
talk
feel
shit.
like you need him.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to him because I had a lot of coaches talking to me. You know, I was my old roommate at the time. He was living with me, and I literally just talked to coaches, to like 3 coaches a day. You know, like one-on-one meetings. But them how they would like me to come out there and all that stuff. And if you talk to like 8, 9 coaches in a row, they all like say like how big time you are and how good you are. And you talk to a guy and he's like, yeah, you should at this, you should at this, you should at this, you should at this. This is not good. This is not good. You just think like, what the fuck? Why should I ever go out there? You know? Then I actually talked to my brother again. He was like, if you go to a guy who wants to work with you, that's what you want. That's someone who helps you to get to where you want to get. Because ultimately, that's what UC Irvine is there for me, to get where I want to be, you know, which is still to play professional soccer. And UC had a great vision for me in general. And ultimately, that was better than other teams that were maybe a little higher on the nation, higher on paper. But yeah, I think ultimately
It was him that like convinced you or sold it to you.
Yeah, I didn't even know anything about UC Irvine at that time.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as I got the contact of UC Irvine, I talked to you guys' old teammate, Kelvin, because we were from the same city in Germany, so it was pretty easy. He told me everything about UCI, and the overall package of everything, also living in SoCal.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
It's a pretty good academic school as well. I had the grades to come out here, so it was a hard decision, but it was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then now being here at UCI, now this is like your second season.
Yeah.
How far off is the level between D1 college soccer and the level you were at in Germany? Like, and this is like a stupid question, but like, what's like, I don't even know how you would rate it. How would you rate it? But
From them to like
the level, like just how
19th?
how different, like how different in level is it? Like,
It's very interesting because there's some time obviously between when I was at a youth academy and at Division 1. So I don't know how much like technology-wise football changed, because technology-wise football changed, you know. But if I go at facility-wise, it's pretty much the same. I played at the top grass field. I played at the top grass field out here. But in terms of like pure soccer, I think it was a little more tactically in Germany. Tactical. Just because you have a whole week to prepare for a team. So basically your Monday is recovery day for the guys who played. And on Tuesday, you usually do 11s of the main team playing against a team who's imitating them. That's what you do for the rest of the day. And on Friday, you have match day -1, and then on Saturday, you play. While over here, you play, recover, almost need another day to recover sometimes, and then you need to go back out again for another game.
Yeah,
you know?
like we played yesterday, we're recovering today, and then tomorrow's match day -1.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
Back on
Exactly.
the Santa Barbara.
And yeah, I think the biggest difference is, I would say, the way teams play. The way teams play over here is a little more direct, way more physical. More emotional, more grit. But it's not a bad thing. You know, I think I'm a physical player, so I definitely like it.
So over there is just a little bit calmer, a little bit more technique, and
Yeah.
what do you say?
Yeah, I think endurance is a big thing too. You have only 3 to 4 subs, so by the 90th minute, everyone's gassed.
Right.
While over here, in the 90th minute, you can sub in the entire new front four who can still press you at the 90th minute. So that's definitely, I think, I never thought about it, but thinking about it now, I think that's a really big factor in general about football, that if you don't have like unlimited subs, it's because everyone's tired at some point, you know. They're tired, you're tired, and then after like the 60th, 70th minute, you just basically, that's when the grit starts, you know, and the grind for games. Well, it starts in the first minute because everyone's fresh and we're coming off the gate full speed every time, nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And how are you enjoying SoCal now? Like, how are you, like, I mean, we just started the season.
Yeah.
How are you enjoying it so far?
Really great. Definitely had a little down period when I got here at the beginning, because I had to deal with a lot of injuries. I mean, you live with me. I wasn't fit.
Bro,
basically,
it's like Matthias and I messed like we like teased this guy a little bit because he like
yeah.
because this is the story. We were told this is gonna be our roommate, right? And then Matthias shows me like, bro, look at this guy. Shows me his Instagram. I'm like, and if you see this guy's Instagram, he's like jacked,
Shredded.
He's like shredded. In his pictures, he looks 6'2". You're like, damn, like this guy's a beast. And we're like, bro, this guy better like, because Matthias and I are all about like just like going out and train, and like work out and shit. I'm like, well, yeah, we can add this guy with us and he can go. And then he shows up. He's out of shape. He's like, we say that he was fat, but he wasn't. I mean, he was just, when you see him now, like off season Sam and like preseason, in season Sam is like different. Like this guy's like shredded and, you know, he looks like what he did in the pictures. But when he came, we didn't know he was like dealing with injuries or anything. But he's like, yeah, like he looked out of shape. He didn't really care to go out and train with us. He just wanted to chill and like, we're just like, man, what a like. This guy, like,
I must say, you guys saved me. Thinking about it now, you guys really saved me. So
Yeah.
shout out for that. I really appreciate you guys. Really saved me.
By
You guys really
teasing you.
gave me like, it wasn't a tease. It was more like
fat shamed him.
it was more like the spark I always had. It literally lit up again.
Yeah.
You know, like obviously I was living in New York. I was out every day, every
Right.
weekend, enjoying life. You know, it was fun. And then I didn't even know how Division 1 level was at that time. I remember when I got in the first practice. And I got smacked by JR. He was running at me at full speed.
Yeah.
Obviously, also to like send a message, but also just because that's the way he is.
Yeah.
And like she's and all that. And I was like, the first week, I was like, wow. I was like, fuck, this is legit. You know, because if you
You've been like cruising for a while now.
yeah.
and,
If you hear Division 1 in Germany, you'll think like, oh yeah, it's easy. You come in, you play this, that. But if you once you play it, you realize how much different it is, and how really legit it is, and how professional it also is in terms of physical standards, also in terms of mental and like facility standards. I would say playing Division 1 is basically playing pro soccer. You just don't pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys literally sparked up the
fires.
fire I had again to really go out and compete again and play again. And I think I was looking for that in my whole first year. Obviously, my injury stuff, I had a hernia, which I was dealing with, and I never told anyone about it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, you've been. It shows that you've been working. Yeah. It's like the guy we saw who came into who's now.
You guys helped me to learn how to work again. I always knew how to work hard. I was always a guy who hard worked. I'm not a guy like, if you guys recall my playing style, I'm the guy for dirty work. I run a lot, I tackle a lot, I slide tackle, don't slide tackle a lot, but like have a lot of tacklings, I win a lot of balls. And I basically do everything dirty to make look you guys pretty. You know? So you can't do that if you don't work hard off the field.
Yeah.
I was always someone who worked off the field. I mean, I worked my ass off when I was 17 at a stage where I was like, okay, they either leave it or take it all. And I took it and I worked hard before school, even at 6 a.m. in the mornings, which is not typical for a kid at 16, 17.
Yeah.
And so I always had it in me. I just lost it because I wasn't playing competitive. Division JUCO was a little chill, you know, wasn't fit, had my injury stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, you guys definitely helped me out with that to get back, bro. Really want to be to see where I really can still end up.
Yeah, bro. Let me know when you want me to bully you.
Of course.
But
You know, besides Rafa, you're probably my mom's favorite player.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she is.
I appreciate it.
She's like, why is he ever, like, in Spanish, obviously. She's like, why does he ever start him? We're like, why are they taking him out? Like,
yeah.
he always does all the work. Like, yeah.
I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Dude, I think your story is crazy. I think it's like,
great episode.
Yeah, I think that was like the perfect like
enjoyed
first
it.
guest, and I hope we didn't rush it too much. If we did, then people need to let us know, and then we'll have you back again, dude. And we'll go back, dive deeper into everything.
Maybe some stuff, but it's just like stories. Yeah,
Right.
A lot of stories.
But do you have any more questions?
No.
Anything? Anything? I'll end it with this. What's like the best memory you have playing soccer?
Honestly, there's so many that
Can't pick one.
it's not that I can't pick one. it's like those memories that I'll think of when I'm like 50. Those are the ones, and that's what I'm talking about. Like Omaha trip where we laughed our ass off.
Yeah.
You know, or like,
This guy's gonna say something. All right, let's end the podcast. All right.
yeah.
Okay.
It's just those memories when you just enjoy the time off the field. Because ultimately, I know that we'll be friends in 20, 30 years. You'll hopefully be there when I get married again.
You get married in 30 years, bro?
No. But you know, you'll be there when I get married, hopefully. And I think that's more valuable because I know what soccer gives me, what it gave to me. It gave me literally education. It gave me friends for life. Traveling, like, it gave me so much that I'm more thankful for those memories than
On the field.
playing. Obviously, it's great to play Barcelona and all those teams, but like to really have friends for the rest of your life just because of the game is more valuable. People don't think about it, but I know that all my friends are soccer players.
Right.
And all my friends for the rest of life will be soccer players. So it basically gave me my whole life.
Yeah. Well, that was well said, Sam. That was beautiful. Yeah. All right. I think that's a perfect way to end the podcast. Yeah. Thank you for hopping on, dude. Again, this is like the perfect first guest. And then hopefully have a lot more guests on who have their own special stories.
If I know people, I can let them know.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
They try to get Kai Havertz.
Probably not. But probably not. But I have to thank you guys for actually inviting me because it's super cool to be out here. You know, I wouldn't be here without you guys. So shout out to you guys as well.
Of course, bro. And then if we have any other big projects, we're already talking about what projects that we want to do for the Without a Doubt. Then we'll definitely have you in mind, bro.
Yeah, just let me know. I'm always happy to help.
Anything?
No.
You good? All right. Well then.
End it.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. And we'll see you on the next one. Follow Sam on Instagram. What's your Instagram?
Samuel Atiye, Atiye.
And then
Samuel Laden Bible.
And then search is following because Kai Havertz is following.
Just look at Rafa's followers and I'll be there somewhere together. We have a cool picture together. The one on media day.
Oh yeah. Just look at.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and then Without a Doubt _athletics. Yeah, that's it.